Hi, everyone, and welcome to Teaching Natural. My name's Dare. I'm an 8th year high school English teacher in SoCal or Southern California, and here is my expense breakdown for the month of November. Starting with my Southwest credit card, which is the card that I have so that I'm getting airline points and things like that. I always pay it off every time I make a charge, so the balance is always zero, which means my minimum payment is always zero. And I make sure that I pay this card off immediately every time because it is at a 20% interest rate and I never want to overspend. So as soon as I make a purchase, I pay it. On this card is Cox Internet, $90, ADT, $22.99. The annual fee for this card last year was like $99, but I remember getting some sort of email or message or something that said that it was going up to $149, which is fine because I love this card and I absolutely love using my points for things. I have not paid for a flight since getting this card in like 2021, I think. So the annual fee of $149 is fine. It's worth it to me. The total going on my credit card for bills is $261.99. We get to my student loan, and there was a kerfuffle with my student loan and everything that's going on with the Department of Education and MOHELA. There was just shenanigans. So I had already paid $1,100 towards my student loan. And then my forbearance was supposed to end on Halloween. However, I received a letter a week ago, I think, that was like, oh, your forbearance is actually going to be until September 2026. But that forbearance did not get factored into my account yet. So I paid my usual large student loan payment. And then I just received an email this morning saying like, oh, we've pulled out your auto payment. So a little annoying that paperwork hadn't processed and things like that. But you know what? We have the extra $334.47 that they're going to pull out of my account tomorrow. And so as soon as I got that email, instead of trying to call and fix things with MOHELA, I just went ahead and transferred another monthly student loan payment from my safety net, which is my emergency fund. I just transferred that into the bill account that my student loan comes out of. So this month I'm actually going to be paying $1,434.47 towards my student loan. And I'm not going to worry about all the things that are going on with that system. I'm not even going to stress myself out. This is what my safety net is for. We're going to cover it, and it's paying down my debt. So now I'll be at like $10,400 and some change, which means next month paycheck, I will absolutely be under $10,000. Like, I'm not going to stress because this debt is going to get paid off. And then I never have to deal with the federal government again when it comes to student loans. So, we're just going to make it do what it do. Renting utilities this month, $2,780.44. Groceries/restaurant, $450. I am not going to get any factor meals this month just because it's no school November. So I'm taking a lot of days off because I have meetings. I also always travel to see my dad. So I'm taking some days off for that. And then, of course, the last week of the month is Thanksgiving. So that means I get my check early this month. Woo, woo. I get it sometime around like the 20th, whatever that Friday is before the week of Thanksgiving. That's when I'll get my check. So I'm just going to cook myself so I don't need a larger budget there. Gas for my car, $140. I might need to start upping this in January. I don't drive very much in November or December, but it just feels like I might need to add some more money for gas because gas has been stable, but I think I want to start building a little bit more of a cushion in my gas account. Gas and electric this month, we always get a rebate or a credit, that's what I'm looking for, the word I'm looking for, in October. So my gas this month, the bill is $15.26. Great. Car insurance, $141.91. I'm not putting anything in my safety net or my emergency fund. Sinking funds, I accidentally wrote a line here, 207 for travel, because I'm traveling back home to see my dad. And this is also when we do our Christmas shopping. So I accidentally wrote that in its own separate line, forgetting that it should have gone on sinking funds because I do have a travel account. But, it's whatever. I had to pay my registration this month. So that was $246. And then I got surprised last month when I went in for an oil change and a checkup. My car, it was recommended that we get $2,300 worth of maintenance and repairs done for it. So I was like, okay, we'll break this up into multiple different months. Let's do the emergency things first, and then, the things that are just recommended care but is not crucial to the safety of operating the vehicle, we'll do those further months down. So the plan was to use half of my paycheck for the charge, and then the other half would come from the emergency fund. So I'm going to be pulling a lot out of my emergency fund this month and next month, but that's what the safety net is for. That's why I've been saving, to make sure that I can handle these kind of pop-up expenses. And so even though I don't like to see the number in my safety net decrease, it is what it is. I am thankful to have that money there, so I'm not going to complain about using it. I'm just going to thank myself for having the wherewithal and the forethought and the discipline to have a safety net. I'm not going to complain when I know other people are in a much worse situation going into this month and going into the holidays. So $350 is going to come from my check, and about $200-ish is going to come from my safety net for this first round of repairs for my car. Already talked about the travel. My friend has a birthday, actually had a birthday. Their birthday was November 1st. So $25 to get them a gift. And then my nails, since it is going into the colder months, I don't need a pedicure. So we're just going to basically get a color change or a manicure. So $50 there. The total in my checking account for this month, $5,768.49. Total of these bills and expenses, $5,767.60, which gives us a remainder of 89 cents. And I just keep the remainder in my checking account. So, because we don't need to budget all the way down to the last penny. And so really the remainder, and then the money for the bills is the only thing that stays in my checking account. Everything else goes to a savings fund or goes to wherever I need it to go so that it's working for me. My cash wallet, which is where I am doing my regular, spending and stuff like that, transferring $525 there. I already talked about what I transfer into my gas account. Already talked about safety net and emergency. And then finally that sinking funds, $207 into travel account. So that is my expense breakdown for November. I hope you are healthy, and I hope you are safe, and I hope your family is okay. And whatever situation that you are going through, I hope that you have exactly what you need to get through it. And, that goes for money as well as for family and friends and the people around you who are going to support you, and the strangers and processes that you don't even know about that are going to come around and be there when you need them. So stay safe and take care of yourselves. The holidays are a difficult time for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. So in the meantime and in between time, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.